Good evening. Welcome to a Sunday night edition of State of Mental Radio. I am your host, the intellectual Newbin Minkares. The reason why I'm doing a broadcast tonight is because Monday there will be no broadcast. This Monday. It will be no broadcast Monday. So I said I would do a special Sunday one to fill in the blank, and I will post this up on my page on Facebook and replay it and however it goes. You can all replay it. So I didn't want to leave my people without anything. The listeners, the people who appreciate the true intelligence of God here on this station, right? Because that's all we're coming with here is the true intelligence of God. We're not coming with my personal opinions. I'm not interested in anybody else's personal opinions because personal opinions are not going to get us to where we need to go. Personal opinions are not going to move us forward collectively. What personal opinions will do and continue to do is keep us stagnant, not moving, all right? And the song that I opened with was Keep Moving. See, a continuous people who are constantly in motion, who are constantly moving, are people who know who and what they are and what their purpose is here, in any environment, will always have an identity, right? No matter where they go. They can always set up in a land anywhere because a land or a place where you set up is like your headquarters. That's all it really is. A country is like your headquarters. Like a main office has a headquarters, right? The United States is nothing but a headquarters or a division of England. Still under England, whether you know it or not. Hell, we speak English, right? It's just a office. It's America's a subsidiary of England, and this is a headquarters here, right? A lot of people want or desire to have headquarters, a place where they can lay a flag at and call it their own nation, have an identity. Black people here in America are the only ones without an identity. Yeah. Blacks and Puerto Ricans, right? Puerto Ricans, they call themselves Puerto Ricans. All that means is rich port in Spanish. When the real Spaniards, not you Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, the real Spaniards, the white Spaniards, when they were taking those islands and things for colonies, they called them Puerto Rico, rich port, because of all the riches and things that were found there. And all the people that were there mainly were blacks and so-called Indians, Taino Indians, called them Puerto Ricans. And they ended up speaking Spanish. They ended up teaching them Spanish as they were enslaving these people, right? Getting them to work slave wages and, things of that nature. So that's where that came from. Black people, we have a little problem when it comes to identity. Right? We want to sit here and we want to call ourselves everything under the sun. I said the real reason, I'm going to tell you tonight, the real reason why black people don't have a true identity, the real reason is because they're waiting on white people to give it to them. That's really what it is. You waiting on white people to give it to you and okay it. You know how you know that? Because if you notice, our people still are clinging on to the name African, the title African. Now, as much as I done did broadcasts, and I've done broadcasts on why we're not African, broke it down, how it came from the white man, how our people didn't even think in continents. We didn't think in continental divides. We were tribal and royal people. Either we had countries and regions that we named, and we didn't go as far as to sever continents and call them names. Yet our people still want to tell lies about this. They think by spelling Africa with a K, or trying to act like no white person, it came from a black person. They want to hide the history on it. They're teaching lies to the people, right? The so-called Africans in the past, the people that are over there today, in the past, they never referred to themselves as Africans. That's a fairly new terminology given by the white man, the Romans. And we'll swear up and down and stake our DNA on it that we are Africans, right? That we are Afar people. And then you got these simple-minded Negroes in the conscious community. They'll try to break it down like Africa, and they'll try to link it to Egypt. More lies, right? More lies. More deception. They think it's okay because they doing it in the name of trying to give us our own nationality and whatever the case may be. But you're calling yourself an African, right? And our people only want a so-called nationality because the white man has one. You only want to be known by nations and have a language because the white man has one. Yet you don't want to totally let his hand go because a lot of you still wear his English names. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Y'all waiting till they okay your titles, right? Y'all waiting for that. A white man comes and tells y'all that y'all Muslims or Arabs or whatever, or Christians, y'all going to take it and run with it. Y'all take any title that white people give to y'all. I hate to say it like this. When Muhammad came and told Elijah and them they was Muslims, they took it and they accepted it. Tribe of Shabbat, they accepted it, everything. Let a black man tell you that today. Let a black man try to tell you, if you never had any contact with that you were Muslims and this, that, and the third, y'all wouldn't accept that, or a black man that looked like you. You're not accepting that. Right? But the black man will stand up, let the white man tell you something and hand you what you think is a gift or a prize or a title. And like I said, our people go crazy. Our people will stand on it, right? They will uphold it. They will do all of this, and still wear his names. That's proof positive enough. You still wearing his names. Or you'll sit up here and you'll take Egyptian names. Now, another thing, the only reason why y'all like Egypt so much is because he was putting Egypt up there. He was talking about how great Egypt was in the Masonic temples and things like that, and he was putting the Egyptians up there. Next thing you know, y'all talking about Egypt, and y'all got Egyptian names, but you won't legally change your name to Egyptian names, so-called Egyptian names. You still have a government name, as y'all call it. You still have a government name. So you just waiting on an identity from him. You won't accept an identity that makes sense. You won't even accept it. Our people won't accept a language that makes sense. When our people say they're African, what does that really mean? Because none of you know exactly in Africa where you come from. Even if you say you trace your bloodline back and say, oh, I'm from Ghana, or I'm from this part, or I'm from that part, right? Fact of the matter is, our people moved around. Black people always moved around in different areas. So how can you, in fact, say that you are from one place when you trace it further back and you'll see that these people came from another place? So our people were always moving around. And they took on titles, right, that came much later than that land that they, that they claim they came from. These titles came late, right? So there's more confusion, right? More Muslim, African, whatever you call yourself, American, right? All of these things do nothing but cause confusion. That's why our people can't have a true identity. That's why we don't have a true language. You understand? We don't have these things because we still want to be married onto the ways and thinkings. We want to let go, but we don't want to all the way let go of our former slave masters and captors and the people who held us in bondage, or the people who are foreign to us that we secretly look up to. We don't want to let them go. We don't want to cut the apron strings. We don't want to come with our own new identity, because I told black people, I said, y'all want to say that, we're not just one monolithic group, right? We're not just one monolithic group. Black people, we have many different ideas and thoughts and this, that, and the third, but I said, it's funny how you all get behind the black thing when it comes to, something monetary or materialistic. Like I said, everybody and their mother will be black if it was some money to be handed out. You understand? Then everybody and their mother is black. Or, when Barack Obama became president, everybody was proud to be black then. Everybody jumped on the black bandwagon. Oh, yes, we can. Ain't that what y'all did? So you pick and choose when y'all all want to be one monolithic group. But then all the other times when it comes to something serious like the evolution of our people, you Negroes get comfortable and, you know, you got your white friends or your Spanish friends, or you want to be part of the populace. You don't want to be part of the collective anymore. You pick and choose when you want to be proud. You pick and choose. You pick up names as you go along. Or you still carry your former slave master's names. I had some sister tell me on there, oh, my name is not a slave master name. I got that during freedom and, you know, and this, that, and the third. She had a regular, you know, European name. Yet you pump your fist for Pan-Africanism, right? You got two names. You got your African, you know, Zulu name and whatnot. Then on the other end of it, you got your regular government white name, right? How's anybody going to take you seriously? Right? After you never even been to these places, never learned to speak the language, that's, that, and the third. You know, y'all just, you know, it's whatever. You make up anything. Right? Your experiences were supposed to be a changing of the guard. You can sit up here and say, oh, I'm from Ghana, or I trace my bloodline back to Ghana, or I trace my bloodline back to Zimbabwe, or, you know, whatever. However, you were brought here to America. Our people were brought here to America. So that changed the whole landscape. That changed the whole identity right there. Just that experience alone was meant to change us forever. It was meant to be an evolution, whether we see it that way or not. It was meant to change us. It was meant to alter us. It was meant to show us that to hold on to earthbound titles, territorial titles, is useless, because our people move around like nobody else. Our people have moved around this planet beyond Africa for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. When it was one Pangea, we was moving all over the planet. When there was one landmass, there was no continents. There was no divides. There was no Africa, no Egypt, no this, that, and the third. It was all just one landmass. Black people don't like to deal with that. They only want to deal with it up to the point where the white man start cutting up continents and calling it continents and dividing things and, you know, drawing lines. Like I said, then we think that's when everything came into existence. We don't look at the landmass as one. When our people were walking around all over the place, our people was in America, or which was called America today. Our people was in Europe. Our people was all over the planet, just walking. China, Asia, wherever. Our people were all over the planet. You understand that? So what does that tell you? That tells you that to marry yourself unto one title is useless. You got black men calling themselves Asiatic black men, which they got from the Nation of Islam. Okay. You say black people came from Asia. What is Asia? Asia is a Greek word. It's a Greek word. How are you going to be an Asiatic black man and the word is a Greek word? Came from their tongue or their understanding of it. You understand? It came from their understanding. So what were you before the Greeks decided to call that region Asia? What were you then? If you can't tell me what you were before these people decided to start calling these things names, then you are nobody. You are nobody. You are nobody. You have no knowledge of yourself. Tell me what you were before these people started naming these things. Because you're going by their names, and if you go by their names, then they become your gods. If you're calling yourself an African and you're linking yourself to their perception of what Africa was as a continent or a colonized group of people, and you're still calling yourself that and you're linking yourself to that, then you have raised these people to the level of God, because you go by their words, by their titles, by their phrases. They don't go by yours. They don't go by yours. Hell, you got white people who call themselves African. So what does it really mean? I told you Charlize Theron, who was born in South Africa, the actress Charlize Theron, she says she's African American. She puts down when she's marking herself, she says she's African American. And a lot of black people took issue with that. I'm like, for what? If she was born in Africa, she African. If you were born in Europe, you European. That shows you how much the landmass thing means. They tell people who are born in Egypt and things like that, whether you black, dark as the ace of spades or not, black, woolly hair, they'll classify you as white, because in their mindset, no black person can come from that part of the world. That's how much they want to sever our connection with that land and what happened over there in the first kingdoms that were built in that area. They don't want us to have no connection with that. Right? They'd rather us be considered tribal people, which is a lie. They'd rather us be considered tribal people. Right? You want to know where the so-called the original slave masters were, the people who were taking slaves into bondage, were your Egyptians, your ancient Egyptians, black people. They were taking people into bondage. They took the white man in. They took the Africans in the West. They took all those people in as slaves, servants, whatever you want to call them. And your white man and all them who was around the Egyptians, they got that idea of slavery from them. You understand? They got that idea of slavery from them. Now, you might argue that it might not have been as brutal, but nonetheless, they still got it from these people. This is real. This goes to the heart of our nationality and who we are. All of this plays a part. Our people don't want to let go of the little bit of identity they got. Our people are the only ones who could be called, you check mark black. Somebody tell you they're Italian, Irish, Native American, whatever they call it. So Irish, Italian, whatever. The language, they got the flag, and then you get to our people, just black. Black represents a dark space, being unaware, unknown. That's what black represents, unknown. You understand? That's what black represents. What is black? Understand? What is black? What is black? Black means nothing. That's why they called us black. And even with that, our people still pump their fists. You still got people still calling themselves black. You still got so-called black people referring to themselves as black when your skin is clearly brown. See, that proves you take any title they give you and you keep it. You keep it. You hold on to it. You get proud of it. And that shows a lack of conviction in finding out who and what you truly are. But we're going to explain all that tonight on who and what we truly are. For those of you who just joined the broadcast, I am the intellectual ᴅᴏ Carres, and this is State of Mental Radio. And tonight, we're talking about the real reason why black people don't have a true identity. Right? Like I said, our people will never have a true identity as long as they're walking in the past, the footsteps in the past, or they're trying to catch up or connect to people in the past, or keeping these identities they have in the present. It's all about the future, right? It's all about the future. I said, when I explained that in the state of mental, we refer to ourselves as mentalian. I said we refer to ourselves as mentalians when we refer to ourselves as mentalists, right? People, of course, and we know the majority of our people are not going to rock with that mentality. They're not going to rock with that because the majority of you have already accepted that you're just black Americans. You're black Americans, right? Which is nothing but the counterpart or the carbon copy of white Americans. So now your identity or your nationality is American. That's it. Something, again, that was created by white people. That's your identity. You don't have any identity beyond what they gave you. And they tell you that all the time when they do movies and they go back as far as slavery. They're talking about, well, they make it seem as though in slavery, before slavery, you really wasn't nothing. You was in the jungle, butt naked and stuff like that. And this is the Africa that a lot of you want to connect with and run back to. Right? You was in Africa, butt naked, and they found you and took you and enslaved you and civilized you and brought you over here, gave you some clothes and taught you how to wash yourself. This is the history that they want to teach you. Right? You notice something that the movie The Django and The Help, those are the most popular movies, right, to date, right now. The Help and now The Django. You see a pattern of our people going backwards in these roles, right? Slavery, submission, under people. The terminology is submission. And as long as our people are under submission to something or in tune with something that no longer has any purpose or any presence, we will never have a true identity. Some of our people are still in contact and trying to deal with the ancestors in Egypt, trying to find an identity, right? And I say to people, kindly, that's not going to help our people. You don't even take it seriously, most of you. You know why? Because you got your little Egyptian names, but on the flip side of it, you got your government names, the names your mothers and fathers gave you. You're not trying to change up to your so-called Egyptian names. You're not trying to do that. You play secret spy, which shows that you're afraid to stand up and change your names or take on a new identity, something that you feel strongly about. That's why I don't take you people seriously when you tell me about this Pan-African nonsense or this Egyptology nonsense. I don't take you seriously because you walking around playing double agent. You walk around 1 minute you got your Egyptian name that you, or your Kemetic name or your ancient Kemite name that you answer to, but then you got, when you filling out your college transcripts or whatever, you got your white man's name, your old family slave name. You understand? See? That just goes to show you. Somebody that said black Americans need to give respect to the European part of their bloodline too. Now you see that? You see that? You'll never see a white. That just shows you. That just shows you our people got it. That's exactly why our people don't have no identity. That's exactly why. Perfect. Carbon copy Negroes. So what? You got some white blood in you. So what? They got black blood in them. Do you ever hear them talk about it? You ever hear them talk about it? They don't want to be next to you, but our people will do that. They like I said, they ain't gonna never admit that. But how they see it is, I came out as a white man or a white woman with straight hair and blonde hair, black hair, whatever. I'm white. Black people have hair woolly as hell, dark brown skin, and be talking about, oh, I got white blood in me. You sound simple-minded. What is white blood? There's no such thing as white blood. There's no such thing as a white heritage or a white background. You came out as a black man, a so-called black man, or so-called black woman, woolly hair and all this other stuff, brown skin, but yet you want to talk about some white blood. And it's always a lot of you people who are Pan-Africanists. It's always you conscious Negroes that do that. It's always you the ones that want to run to metaphysicians. You talk about the white man, but then you want to run to his philosophies. You want to run to his dictionaries. You want to keep his names. You want to acknowledge some white blood running through your veins, so-called white blood or whatever was raped into your bloodline. You people are disgusting. You niggas are disgusting. You understand that? You are disgusting. Yet you sit up here and talk about blackness. It's no coincidence that most of these people that sit up here and talked about all this black this and black that, they was the same ones that mixed their seed, married the white woman or the black or the white man, or mixed outside their race. And they kept their former slave master's name, but yet they want to tell us about being black or so-called black or identify or having an identity. That is so sad. It's disgusting. This is why, like I said, I don't want to have anything to do with the so-called black man or the so-called white man, anybody that's linked with this whole, mentality. Black, white, I don't want to have anything to do with that. That's why I talked about the bright race, right? The solar intelligent beings, the celestial ones, the people above the sun. Because I said, if our people are from God, or we are from God, we are from the bloodline of God, from the manifestation of God, like I always say, then that is your identity. That's your identity as almond beings, as I've always said. I said our people come from God. You understand? Straight from God. Not part of the creation of God, but straight from the bloodline of God. So that's your identity. You are almond beings. God's name, true title is almond. So thus you are almond beings. You are the almond race, not the human race. That's your identity. You are receivers of God. the true God, Amen. You are mental receivers. See, you looking for your identity. Like I said, this gentleman here proved what I said. This gentleman proved it. He proved it. Y'all still looking for some kind of approval from white people. You looking for a title from them. You know why? You black men and black women, y'all want to make some kind of connection to your European, so-called European bloodline because you don't have any identity of your own, and you want to claim anything. You want to jump on the bandwagon of anything that's established. That's your mentality. Oh, you want to be. That's why y'all so proud to say. Especially you black women. Y'all say, "Oh, I got some Indian in me, or some Italian. I got Latin. I got this in me. I got Spanish in me." Because you don't have no identity, so you want to jump on the bandwagon and cling on to somebody else's identity. How pathetic is that? How pathetic is that? That you got to try to find your way through other people. That you got to live vicariously through other people to try to link into their identity. An identity that they came up with themselves. You understand? That really is not about nothing. The Romans. The Germans. You understand? Irish man. Man at the end. They came up with these identities. Languages. Or fragments of languages that were already existed that really came from us. But you would rather wait on them. You would rather look for your identity through them. That's why you don't have one yourself. You want to link on to something they tell you. I said our people are Amen beings because we come from God. That's our identity. Stop looking for your identity. The problem is you're looking for your identity to come from the white man. You're looking for him to carve out another section somewhere and tell you, oh, yeah, by the way, you guys are from there. Next minute, you know, you niggas up here talking about, oh, you know what? The scientists have found out that we really come from here. And y'all will just take it and run with it because the white man told you y'all came from there. How sad is that? How sad is that? You see, this is what happens when you got people and a mentality that are not looking to move forward. I notice it's always our people who are caught up in the past, in the history. It's always our people. These are the ones, like I said, you'll find them as Pan-Africanists. You'll find them as Egyptologists. You'll find all these people, Christians, Muslims, all these people are caught up in those mentalities. Lost Negroes. That's why I said when God is reclaiming his people, like he's starting to do now, as God is reclaiming his people and giving them a new name, a new identity, God had talked about in the book of Revelations will give his people a new name and a new identity. The rest of our people, the rest of the people on the planet, they're just going to be scattered amongst the rest of the animals, the humans. That's your race. You would have been better off just saying you are the human race. You might as well just say that. Stop with the whole African thing. Stop with the whole Egypt thing. Stop with all that. Just say you part of the human race. Because y'all looking to make a connection. Paul Mooney said something simple-minded, talking about, well, you know, black and white, we all the same, you know, and that's why we hate, because nobody hate like family. We all the same. But then he want to turn around and get black when he want to be convenient. That's when he want to separate. Right? But we all the same. They don't think that way. They don't treat you that way. They don't act that way with you. They know the difference. You understand? And they uphold that difference. You'll never hear them say, "Oh, well, my family we're from Ireland, but we have some black in us. We have some Nigerian in us." You'll never hear them say that. And they can have all that black up in them somewhere down the line. But they'll never admit to it. You understand? That proves, like I said, all people want to be included. You want to be included. You want to be a part of everything. That's why you have no identity. ID is what identifies you, what differentiates you from everybody else. You understand? You already had an identifying marker. Your hair, your skin, identifies you as people from God. And you let these people sit up here and tell you that you was cursed. And a lot of y'all still believe that. Physically cursed. I said a curse that came from our people, or the punishment that came from our people, was a mental curse or a mental punishment, a disconnection from God, because you accepted the ideas, the concepts, the beliefs of mankind. That's why you are black people. You are people lost in the darkness, and you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know what your identity is. You understand? You don't know who your identity. You don't know what your identity is because, like I said, when you look for things through man, you'll never find it. When you look at things through man, you'll never find the identity. I said, stop sitting up here talking about, oh, I'm Moorish, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Like I said, our people, like I said, all those terminologies mean nothing. You could find hundreds of terminologies that was before these ones that you already know. You can find hundreds of terminologies. These names are going to constantly keep changing. They're going to constantly keep changing. People are going to constantly be moving. What was known as Europe today might not be known as Europe tomorrow. What was known as Africa today might not be known as Africa tomorrow. So y'all want to sit up here and act like, there was an Africa before the white man called it Africa? There was no Africa. That was just a landmass with a bunch of black people living in there in sections. That's it. They didn't call themselves Africans. There was a time where there was no Europe, no Asia. But your recollection, when you start counting history, when you start making identifying marks about people, it starts when the white man does it. When he said, okay, this will be year one, and this is y'all Africans, and well, this is we're Europeans, and y'all just go right with it. You just go right with it. You don't think to yourself, well, wow, why don't I just, find out who I am beyond this? You don't think to yourself to do that. That's the mentality of our people. This is why we will never find out, or some of our people, I should say, will never find out who they are. I'm going to take a call, 678. 678, you're on the air.
Good evening, Nubin. This is Doc Bosch. How are you this evening?
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm
Good.
Great. I'm doing a special broadcast because, like I said, Monday there won't be a broadcast. So
I know. I heard you. As a person who really knows where you're coming from, I just want your permission to let me interject something that I see continually going on here, and it might assist these people that are bouncing into this room for the first time, offering their perspectives. Can you allow me to interject something that can help them, and it may give you some little ideas as how, I know you've gotten used to the conflict because you know what the deal is, but I too am like yourself, and I know what cosmic intelligence is. I've been in the work for a long time. Would you allow me to make a minor suggestion that may help, because these people don't know what I know about you?
Okay, good. Take a shot.
The thing that these people don't get, if they've never listened to any of your shows, or they've sat in here for 2 minutes or 10 minutes and doing what people do, projecting their ideas, you are not making it clear to them on every show that everything you are doing is based on cosmic knowledge coming into the planet through you, that gives clarity to what you are speaking. It gives evidence that they will not find in a book. So if they do not know who God is or how to counsel with God or what God's voice is, they have no idea to confirm anything, and all they can do is throw at you the bullshit that crops up through their egoic idea about who they are.
No, well, that's true. That's true. Well, here's the thing. majority of the black race, they're not going to accept anything coming from anything other than the white man. They won't say it. They won't say, oh, it's not that, but yes, it is. When they ask, well, where'd you get this from? They looking for me to say from a white man. They want me to say, well, because they want to run to a book so bad, say, well, see, in this book right here, it says, that Africa was the oldest continent, and some white man wrote the book. True. That's what they really looking for. They looking for their former master to say, okay, this guy's all right, so and then they'll be okay with it.
But I'm not. Listen, I know that, but trust me, the element amongst those that really desire the truth is huge, but they don't know how deep this programming is, that it didn't start with their generation, which is why they can't accept the possibility that you could be likened unto a god, that you could be a God-man on earth here to raise that. You understand? They have no ground, so reminding them as often as possible that this is new intelligence coming into the planet through me kind of cuts in half all of that crap about going to books, because you're telling them you ain't finding it in books unless I wrote them.
Mm-hmm.
They're lost. They're going to be lost. If you're not able to remind, and I'm not saying make an excuse, you're telling the truth. This way, when they jump in this chat room and throw their ideas at you, it already means nothing, but then they walk away, stalking away from the answer of the millennium so far. And what will happen is 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years later, when the state is all built and there are people living it, they'll remember that they threw it away. Because why? Their little egoic selves would not sit down and listen, which is what it's about. I honor what you're doing. I know I look forward to having a short chat with you, because my only challenge with you is, and I understand why, but trust me, I can't be, maybe I am the only elder that you will meet that understands where you're coming from and knows what you're up against, because I've been here doing this a long time but detached from my people. My walk was different, and your presence has made it clear why. So I salute what you're doing. I know what you're up against, okay?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you, darling. I will continue to listen. Have a wonderful welcoming in 2013.
You too. Thank you, Doc.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Let me say something. Hold on. I'll take 267. 267, you're on the air?
Greetings, my bro.
Right.
I just wanted to add it that, as I hear you talk about we're always looking white people for validation, and that it really is sickening. It's sickening that we need to validate everything by them. And something I was talking to someone about recently, I realized that, one of the greatest problems that we have is that we're on somebody else's time. We're on somebody else's schedule. And, if they say we're enemies and we're at war, if they say we're segregation, that's what's going on. We accept that. And then they turn it around tomorrow. They say, well, everybody integrate, or let's all love each other. And we say, okay, yeah, that's what we want, that's what we should be doing. And while even some of these things might have some validity, the fact that somebody else initiated it on their schedule and it's not something that we initiated and we simply accept it is a very big part of the problem. But I think, I hear you talk about the Black consciousness movement a lot. I'm a recent listener, but I've listened to several shows. And I hear you talk about the Pan-Africans and so on. And I say, it's all right to some degree, because the people that I feel, this is my personal view, a lot of the people that are going to, find your message to be resonating will be coming from these segments or these groups that are supposed to be Black conscious, because I think it's a growing and an evolving process. And the reason why I say that is because I myself, who came out into this world, first was thrown into Christianity and then, growing into something else, and then going into like even the Hebrew Israelite movement and so on, and then continue growing into what now they call the Black conscious movement, and then coming across different shows and then finding my way to what you have to say is because I started in some form of consciousness. And I always say, as we talk about books, okay, yeah, people, everybody wants to read a book now, and they see that as synonymous with intelligence. But that's a start. It's better that we get out here and start reading some books rather than be sitting there watching Kim Kardashian. So that's the only thing I would say about that. When you talk about the conscious movement, it's a slow process. I agree. We should have a better understanding by now, but we're still growing. And I think those people, those who will, they'll find their way, and they'll hear what you have to say. And then I have one question for you about when you talk about God and you talk about Amen. And my question to you about God is, I hear you say you refer to God as Him. Are you saying that God is male, or is that just an habitual thing, or are you saying that God encompasses both male and female? What is the truth on that?
I said God is a man, first of all. God is a man, just like you're a man, just like I'm a man, and we are following in the image of God, right? And we are supposed to be growing and moving on the path to becoming like this being who is like us, who is more advanced than us. That's what makes God different from us. He's just more advanced than us, right? God has a woman. God has a people around him. God has a group. It's no God by himself and alone. That's some religious nonsense. God is just a race of people, or God is over a race of people who are advanced, just as we are a race of people who are supposed to be moving after the order of God. Now, you had somebody who said these are theories and ideas, and this is what makes me laugh with black people. Right, when, logically, see, because black people don't have any logic of their own. Everything they think about politically, they're following from some white person, all right, or whatever they think in their mind, because black people don't have not gained any control of their own logic or their own way of thinking. So when they see a black person doing that, a so-called black person, they get bent out of shape. It becomes theory. Oh, he's making things up, or he lying. But at least it's ours. That's not coming from the white man. Yours comes straight directly from the white man. So you can't say nothing. You Negroes, like, I'm not saying you, but anybody out here, especially in the chat room, who's talking about theories and getting yourself, all your theories come from the white man. You're nothing but, a lot of you black men who talk this your political agenda and the politics, that's nothing but you're just a bunch of puppets for the white man. You mouthing the same theories that came from the white man. But then when I say something, it's your own theories and this, that, and the third. Well, why don't you get your own? Get your own theories. My way of thinking comes from God, and I can say that. Now, those are people who have a problem with that, because, hell, that's what the white man, he'll tell you in a minute that, everything he did in society was manifest destiny, that God willed him to do that, right? He'll say that he, God willed him to come and take African slaves, and God willed him to take over America and take this from the Indians and things like this, right? And I do agree with that. Because I said we're following out a pattern or a plan that's been laid out, a blueprint. So our people are supposed to be following out a blueprint behind God, who has already walked this blueprint, who has walked this with a race of gods or supreme beings, and we're supposed to be following in the evolution of that. We're supposed to be growing into gods. All right?
Right.
I mean, this is logic. This is not something that's made up and things like this. But logic escapes the black man because he's in darkness. If the white man don't say it, if it's not something that he can repeat like a parrot from the white man, whether it's politics, something supposed to be so like education or whatever the case may be, he's not going to acknowledge it. It's not going to resonate to him until the white man say it. But if I say it, I got to be making it up. It's my theory, who he think he is and whatnot, because I'm not copying from the white man. That's the problem. And like I said, for those people, I don't really care. But go ahead, brother, what you saying?
Yeah, I said we're not ready for originality, and a lot of us, we're jaded and we're mistrustful of each other also, because unfortunately, you have some wolves out there in sheep clothing, so to speak, and it makes us very leery too, and that is what is helping to contaminate or make the people second guess or say, well, where is he getting this from? Because unfortunately, there's been some people who have taken things. Some of it came from their own minds, and some of it is a bunch of mixing up of things that they read from different books and other people's philosophy, and they've taken it and they've used it for some selfish means, basically, and they've deceived people, and then they've been exposed. And so now that also is in people's psyche, and it seems like black people, they remember every bad thing that another so-called black person does to them, but they'll easily forget, what others have done. So it only takes a few of us to make a few mistakes before we poison the whole pot and say, any black man coming with anything in our minds, we're saying pretty much even on a subconscious level, oh, that can't be trusted out, he might be crazy,
Oh, well, I don't really care. Like I said, those black people who do that, they're not for this movement anyway. They're not connected with God. So, like I said, God is not dealing with the majority of our people. The majority of our people, that's why I said in the book of Revelation, I acknowledge that to be true, that only an elect people, only a chosen people will evolve and move forward. The rest of our people could forget it because y'all following behind the white man. The majority of y'all following behind the white man, and you copying him and whatnot. And like I said, anything he say, anything he write down, you jump up on it. But like I said, for all you black men who saying, this, that, and the third about what we teaching, where is this coming from? You must be getting it from your ancestors, or you getting it from your own something. No. I said it's coming from God, directly from God, through me. I said, our people, if you make yourself a lightning rod for God's intelligence, meaning that you open yourself up to the intelligence of God, which is constantly streaming through this atmosphere, you understand, at accelerated paces now, you'll feel the stream. If you're open to it, then you're going to receive intelligence. You're going to say things that are not common amongst men, that are not from the thoughts or the limited perceptions of men. And that's what we're saying in the knowledge of mentellect, through the reception of mentellect, that this is God's intelligence coming onto the planet. The same intelligence that went into, charging up the so-called Egyptians to build the pyramids, or went into charging the Europeans to come up here and set up America. All of the intelligence that went into building empires and kingdoms and standing governments came from God. That's what I'm saying, because God has a government. So we are moving behind God in our own time, but we're not connected. That's the problem. I came forward to tell my people that we're not of the human race. We're supposed to be receiving at a higher frequency rate because we are almond beings, not human beings. That's why we don't look like the white man, the East Indian, the Chinese, and all these other people. Our hair looks different. Our skin looks different. We are a totally different species of beings. That's what we're supposed to be receiving. That's what God is sending in the message to our people right now through the knowledge of mentellect, or through the intelligence of mentellect, which is only for the chosen or the elect who are willing to receive that, who are opened up on a high frequency mentally to receive that.
How can the people begin to open themselves up? How can they begin to receive if someone is not necessarily or does not know if they're in tune with God? How does one begin to tune to the right frequency?
By tuning out on the lower frequency, which is the human frequency, the human tone, which is what our people don't want to do. When I say tune out on the human tone, I mean stop thinking and doing the ways of mankind. You understand? Stop thinking like them. Stop having the same concerns, desires, and wants as these people. You understand? Stop saying simple-minded things like, oh, we should honor the European blood in us. That proves to you that, like I said, we got a lot of black Caucasians.
Right.
That's why our people can't open up. That's why they don't have no identity. Your identity is supposed to come from God, Amen. God is calling his people the Amen beings, not the humans, not the artificial creation, but the natural manifestation out of the bloodline of God, because God is a physical man. He is not a concept. He is not something out of somebody's imagination. God is real. Why you know God is real is because there's order on the planet. Somebody had to put all this in order. That was done by intelligence. And wherever intelligence is, a higher or supreme force is, a man is, a physical man is. See, but this is over a lot of our people's heads because it didn't come from the white man. So.
Right. Well, I thank you, brother. I'll let you carry on the show. I will continue to listen.
All right, brother. Thank you. I'm going to take a next call. 973. 973, you on there?
How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. This is Brother JR.
All right.
I'm feeling what you said earlier as far as us being the Amun people.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from a background where initially it was the church down south, but I came out of that in 2004, left, and, went to the Kemetic and then to the Moorish, so I understand where you're coming from as far as, like, all these different identities.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to present something that came from my own independent studies, my own meditation. This didn't come out of no book, and I understand what you're talking about because, number one, we are from a place that is prior to the creation of this world. I'm coming from a Gnostic standpoint. I'm coming from a spiritual standpoint. I'm coming from an internal knowledge, a knowledge of self that comes from within. As I study, in the material I've been studying, I'm talking about, like, let's say, have you ever heard of the Gnostic text?
No. I heard the term Gnostic, but like I said, I don't read books from people.
Okay, well, this isn't books from, I understand where you're coming from as far as reading books from people, but this here is actually the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found, because I understand that the ancestors spoke in symbolism and they left these things behind to wake us up into the true identity of who we are as the ancient of ancient ones of the universe. First of all, this African movement, from what I understand, especially in the 90s, this African consciousness about back to Africa mentality, and, we came from Africa, all of that was a part of an agenda released, like I think somewhere by the Illuminati and those who were responsible for the international world government, the elite. The thing is, we have to understand that, number one, we're a global people. There's no place on the planet that we as a people have not been. I don't care if you talk about Africa, whether you talk about America, China, nowhere on the planet, that we haven't been, because, like you said, it was all once upon a time one global planet. So we have to get rid of this, what I like to call this colonial mentality, where, when the Caucasian, who's only been on the planet a couple thousand years, splitted everything up, rewrote the maps, rewrote everything for their own benefit and for their own world-conquering political agenda. And we have to detox our minds of that and start going within, because our origins is on a divine scale. And to really understand the profundity and the depth of that truth, we have to spend more time going within, because from my own research, I think it would be benefit to us also to empower ourselves is to stop referring to us as something like mundane as human beings. Because if we understand that we are ancient of ancient and divine, we can create and really meditate on that truth. We can free ourselves from the limitations of this of what these these human titles and attributes of being black or Moorish or whatever the case may be, and thereby transcend a lot of the division that's perpetuated in the spells that are cast over our minds.
Okay. Well, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
You this came to you, you said yourself, these thoughts?
As I did my own independent studies and I began to meditate on certain concepts and everything, I just came to the realization that all concepts that would limit your perception, like, say, for instance, limiting yourself to a particular title that identifies and connects you to a particular area, even America. I think, a shift of focus would be very helpful. That's what helps me.
Well, let me just say, true intelligence right now coming into this atmosphere is coming directly from God. People telling me, the things about what the Gnostics said and all these other people said and all these people wrote down, that was understanding that came to them during their time. That's nothing new, all right? We need new intelligence about who we are, all right?
Brother,
Who exactly we are. You understand?
Okay.
We without all the old stuff. See, because
okay, well look, okay,
let me finish, brother. Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
This is why I said I don't read books. And see, this is the problem a lot of black people got with it. I had somebody just in the chat room talking about I need to sit down and study under some master teachers. What master teachers? There are no master teachers. It's just a bunch of people who sat up and read a bunch of books and repeating what they read out of a book. The only true master teacher is Amen, God. That's the true master teacher. All right? Because if he's not sending any messages to the people to advance or send inspiration to the people, then none of that stuff, anybody could do that. Anybody could sit up and read a book, all right, or go to some place and read some text and study some text. That's a master teacher, just because they're able to repeat what they read out of a book or read off of some stone somewhere. That's a master teacher. A master teacher is one who receives intelligence from on high, future intelligence, not past intelligence that anybody could just pick up. Future intelligence to lead people into the future. That's what a master teacher does.
Well, brother,
you guys who talking this nonsense about a master teachers and the master teachers, like I said, that's how you know that it's a false title for false people. Because, like I said, for people who are small-minded and ignorant, because anybody, like I said, our people will take anything at face value as long as it sounds heavy, as it sounds deep, and it sounds like, like somebody wrote a book and it's like 200-300 pages and they got a PhD or a doctor on the beginning of their name. Like I said, our people make them master teachers.
I understand.
You guys need to really sit down, man.
But here's the thing. Okay, I'm not basing anything off of. I was just using that as a reference, just like you said, Amun. Now, that's an ancient Kemetic terminology.
No, I'm not talking about, there's no Amun, brother. Well, I said Amen. I said Amen.
Amun.
Oh, hold on. It has nothing to do with Amun, all right? That, when you're talking about Amun from ancient Egypt, all right, that has nothing to do with Amen that we're talking about. When I said Amen is not, let me finish, brother. Let me finish. Amen is not from Egypt, all right? Amen, the name Amen came through Egypt, and the Egyptians picked that up. And they started to put that god up, because they tell you, if you study the pantheon of Egypt, that name came up through time, and they discovered it, and then they started putting it up as the king of gods, or the chief of gods, because that name can go back further and further and further, and nobody knows the true origin of that name. And the reason why nobody knows the true origin of that name and why it has stayed intact in its pristine state of Amen, and it hasn't really changed in the language, is because that is the true name of God. That name is connected to the word men, or physical beings, or physical man, as one who begat physical beings or physical men, an eternal being. That has nothing to do with the Egyptians. They didn't create anything. They just mouthed what they heard or what they saw.
Okay? All right. Well, all right. So I understand. All right. It didn't originate with the Kemetians, because they were a spinoff of another culture themselves. I understand that. I was just curious where you got that title from. That came from your own, basically your own spirit, independent of any books, anything else that they are offered out there that other people present.
Yeah, it did. It did. What I say is, and why I say, let me tell you why I say that is because, see, people, they have a hard time, especially when it's black people, saying that black people receiving messages from so-called black people are receiving messages from God or in tune with something higher than them, because they're not in tune with it. So they got to try and say, but I challenge anybody to pick up this phone and call me and disprove what I'm saying. I've always done that. I've opened myself up to challenge to disprove anything somebody's saying, to say if I made something up, or I got it from Kemet, or I got it from Egypt and whatnot. Like I said, there were societies before Egypt, all right, and they picked up things. Egypt was actually the downfall. Hold on, let me finish. Egypt was actually the downfall of a society that was existing before, and it was actually the build-up from something else. So when you understand that a race of beings who sped man up, right, who sped up our people to put them ahead, who sped up their intelligence, the people that created this whole thing, people, not no spooks, not no spirits, people, the physical people that created this whole thing and placed everything in a biological order, meaning that our people are supposed to lead with intelligence, lead with thought, lead with logic. When they put this in order, that means that they would connect with our people through intelligence, through logic. So these are real people. This is a race of people. Just as you have human beings, you have almond beings. This is a race. And the Egyptians, a lot of them misunderstood that.
Okay, so the almond people were a race of people.
They are a race of people, and we are the extensions of those people.
Hello? Okay.
I'm listening to you.
Okay, all right. I was just going to say, I'm feeling you when it comes to these people talk about their masters and everything. Personally, I disassociated myself recently from all groups and all these because that entails a whole bunch of egocentrism and entails a whole bunch of mind control. I don't really believe in the thing of like having a leader set up over somebody and respect your spirituality, because if you understand who you are within, that you are the ancient people, whatever term you want to call, I see myself as something that existed long before even the creation of what we call the cosmos here today in this world that we know, this universe. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like, and you don't come to that until you learn how to do, like, you know, your own meditation and your own independent study and stuff like that. And I say that, and when I say a shift of focus, I'm talking about a shift inward, going inward for the answers as opposed to looking to external sources, because that's where the trap comes in.
Okay. All right.
Because the human state is a fallen state within itself. Our origins are not human. Now, if you do a research on the etymology of the word human, it all comes back to somebody who's subservient and subject to somebody else or some other power or authority. However, when you go within and begin to ask these questions of your soul, and when I say the soul, that's like corresponding to the sun. That's no accident.
Okay.
The inner divine power, that divine spark, or what the Transformer movie refers to as the all-spark. We're the original and most ancient people here on this planet, to the whole cosmos, the eons, the eternity of eternity. Like one Chinese archaeologist said, the black man has no beginning. But the bottom line is this right here. No, it's not necessarily about looking externally for the answers, because that's when the entrapment comes in. It's to the point where it annoys me that there are people out here constantly trying to tell you what to do, because the focus, if they can keep you focused on their instructions and what they say you're supposed to do and what they say, how they say you're supposed to act and all this other stuff, those things are for human beings, not for ancient ones. I usually use the term ancient ones. You say Amun. You know, I understand.
I didn't say Amun, brother, because when you say that, this is the problem. When you say no, let me just say this, and I gotta go to another call because this is. Hold on, brother, hold on, because I gotta go to another brother. Hold on, I gotta go to another call in a second. So, when I say Amen, like I said, we were learning the pronunciation because everything is an evolution to something else. People don't understand that we're following an evolution that was laid out before we got here in physical form. We're following a blueprint. So for people who sit up here and talk this nonsense about I'm following Malachi York or I'm following somebody else because I say Amen, I said those men didn't make up the word Amen just like the Egyptians didn't make up the word Amen. You understand? Just like the white man didn't make up English. Ain't nothing come from nobody. All of that was ideas that were generated into your head. You understand? Yeah. If you are in tune. Like I said, but just because you guys are not having anything generated into your head, and I said, I challenge you to call me right now if you saying if I'm making stuff up and things like that, because it's easy to sit in the chat room like cowards and say, oh, this guy making stuff up. Call me and ask me questions. I'll answer any question you want. Because if I was following Dr. Malachi Z. York, a lot of his followers would have came up and could point out, they would have to point out what exactly I'm saying or what I'm copying from it, and they haven't done it to date. I post a lot of stuff in their chat rooms, and they haven't said anything, or they've been like, where are you getting this from? I got that a lot from now. His own followers saying that. You understand? And I said I was a student of Dr. York and whatnot on my road to my evolution and whatnot, but I'm not getting anything from Dr. York. Yeah. I didn't even read any of his books. I'm not a reader. I tell people that all the time. But like I said, when Negroes, like I said, they can accept something readily from the white man, no problem. Like I said, that's why I said I don't really pay. Y'all don't even register on the scale with me, because until you can come with your own intelligence, until you can break down something yourself without the use of the white man or run into his dictionary or whatever you want to run to, until you can come with something logical, y'all not even on my level. I'm not even talking to y'all. Y'all don't even register. Y'all just in the chat room to make clowns out of yourself, because everything out of your mouth is from the white man, or your so-called master teachers who read something from a white man, who 9 times out of 10 the white man made most of it up. You understand? He done made most of it up, or took fragmented bits of truth and made it to a whole nother story. So come correct come correct when you got something to say.
Yeah, I feel you, brother, and I thank you for your time. But any information, if I wanted to get more information, do you have a website or anything?
Yeah, the SOM.info. The SOM.info. And you're right, Doc Vag. I'm even going to this guy. Hold on a second, hold on 1 second, brother. The SOM.info. And the fruit. Listen. If I'm so this and I'm so that, why do you waste time listening to my show? Why do you listen to my broadcast? If you got so much to say and you got all this thing, and I'm wrong, you're paying attention to me and my broadcast. You done listening to my broadcast more than 3 or 4 times. So obviously you're getting something from it. You know what it is? You can't do anything for your people. You understand? And I'm focusing on you people in the chat room, got something negative to say. Why are you still listening? Why are you still lit? You know what that is? That's that who this nigga think he is mentality, because you mad because you ain't got nothing to say. Y'all just a bunch of clowns sitting up here repeating something the white man said, and that's all y'all are, a bunch of good black parrots. So, you know what? The fruit, I'm kicking your ass out. You know?
Yeah.
I'm kicking you out because you just here to cause problems.
Who, me?
No, not you, brother. Not you.
Oh, you told those other folks, because I'm like,
I'm just,
That's ego. That's what you call
it. Yeah, that's all that is ego. I don't got time for nonsense, man.
Yeah, but it's all about going within. That's all I wanted to share. It's about going within and shifting your focus and realizing on an internal level who you are.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for your time. SOM as in Sam.
The SOM.info. The SOM.info. Yeah. All right. Thank you, brother. 973. All right.
Peace.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Those who called in before, you can call back in. I'm just, like I said, you guys do this and you call in. Like I said, why don't you call in and say something? Don't hide behind a phone line. I've always opened myself up. It's easy to be a coward and hide behind the phone line. Why are you listening to my broadcast? I don't understand that. All the people, that just proves to you. But, I'm not mad at you. It's just funny how these people they don't listen to my broadcast several times. If I was BSing you and this, that, and the third, why don't you do a radio broadcast where you telling the quote-unquote truth? Why are you listening to my radio broadcast? Why don't you get on the phone and be a man or a woman or whatever you are and call, and don't be a spineless coward who sits in a chat room trying to slander and be negative, because that's all you about. Nothing. When it comes down to it, there is no substance there. I'm going to take another call. My brother Reginald. Reginald, what's going on, brother?
Peace, Nubin.
What's going on? Peace, brother.
We got
too many, Reginald, we got too many black bootlicks. I haven't realized how many Uncle Tom black bootlicks we got, carbon copy black Caucasians we got, because whenever they hear, somebody standing up who's trying to move beyond the whole black race thing and the white race thing and move our people into a whole new level of intelligence, where he get that from, and this, that, and the third. You didn't question where the white man got none of his stuff from. You didn't ask him nothing. You just accepted it. You accepted his political ideas. You accepted his terminology of calling you black and African and everything else. You didn't have no questions. But the minute I came, that's his theory. You didn't say it about the white man. I wonder why. Because he's your God and he's your master still.
This takes me back to the sister that called. Her comment about how you're supposed to present this intellect. But I'm like this, Newman. You don't gotta beat this into nobody's head. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
If a person is in tune, they're just gonna grasp it. It's just gonna become they're gonna become it, because it is what they are. You don't gotta beat this into nobody.
No.
A whole bunch of people that don't accept this.
Oh, that's okay. that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad they don't accept it, because at least you can't hide behind this. See, and when we was Muslims and under Islam and things like that, a lot of people could come in and salam alaikum their way into the movements and things like that, or Hashe and Hotep their way into what we was doing. But see, you can't do this in intellect, because your intelligence level is going to dictate whether you are amongst the elect in this last day and the new days to come. It's not going to be you BSing your way in, because like I said, they're going to have to come and show and prove themselves to be worthy based on their own intelligence level. And a lot of our people just can't cut it. That's what the whole hysteria and the uproar is right now in the chat room, because you got a lot of people who are not connecting with God. They're not connecting intelligently with that future state of God. They're not getting it. So because they're not getting it, they want to mess things up for y'all. They want to come in and cause confusion. It's like the kid. It's like the child who who's not, who's sitting inside. He might have been slow or whatever, and he get mad at the kids who picking it up. It's the same mentality. Because my thing is why keep listening? These people keep listening to the broadcast for what? Why do you keep listening? If I don't like something, if I felt like something was BS and all this guy just making stuff up, why I come keep listening to the broadcast? Why would I keep sitting in there listening over and over and over again, coming to the broadcast? Why would I do that?
Yeah, they obviously not serious either, because if they were, they would call in to speak with you.
Exactly. I make myself open all the time.
They want to come in and cause confusion. That's the whole thing.
That's all. Yeah, that's a black. That like Dr. York used to say. I do say that about Dr. York. I don't use that term devils like that, but that's your black devils. That's all. That's your black Caucasians. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
That's your black Caucasians. These are people who are disconnected. They not in tune. They not God's people. They not God. They're not in tune with God. They're not of the God race. They of mankind. That's why, like I said, God is the white man. That's why, like I said, he say something, he there to repeat it. They the first ones cracking open a dictionary, encyclopedia with a white man saying this and the white man saying, they don't question him at all. But hey, that's what it is. That's why they don't have no identity. They the black people, the people in darkness.
Yeah, and that master teacher crap. Just like you said, man, you right on point. Those people got information out of the white man's book and repeated it, and then these Negroes, that information became part of them.
Yeah.
They still own it. They still stuck on it.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to accept this. They're not.
Well, it ain't for them. It ain't for them. It ain't for the Negroes. But they'll try to be mindful of these Negroes when y'all see them in the chat room, because they'll always try to make their way in and try to spoil things and cause confusion because they mad because they not getting it. Because like my thing is, if this is a waste of time, why are you here? Why are you here? Riddle me this. Don't come back. I shouldn't have to kick you out the chat room. You should be like, man, you should have heard the first 20, 30 minutes of what I had to say on the first broadcast, and be like, man, I ain't coming back here. This guy full of crap. That's what I would have did.
Me too.
That's what I would have done, man. This guy full of crap. Let me go live my life, because you guys got no life. You got no life. Your connection, whatever the white man is doing, you talking about your political views. Your political views are the white man's political views. I don't have to ask you Negroes what you think. I'll just ask the white man. So I can find out before you. I'll play crystal ball. I'll just ask the white man what he thinks, and that'll dictate basically what these Negroes going to think for the next 10 years. Simple Simon Negroes.
Let them go back to Africa with a K.
Yeah, go back to Africa. Go back to Africa. Go back to Now, here's some more intelligence. The Bible is the white man's book, and he keeps quoting out of it. The Bible is the white man's book. Do you know, what's your name, Mullen Day or whatever? Do you know that the Bible is copied from Egyptian and Sumerian books? What are you talking about? All that, the white man, there's no white man's book. All those stories are copied from black stories.
Everything
so-called black stories. That's those stories. Your Jesus story, your Noah story, all those stories are copied from older Sumerian and ancient Kemetic stories or Egyptian stories. So what are you talking about? Do some research before you say something stupid. Those stories were copied from other stories, and they're symbolic of things that are taking place right now. When I talk about, actually, when I speak about the book of Revelation, right? I speak about the book of Revelation. That's on point because it's dealing with a people, and it's talking about, and it's making description of our people throughout the book. You understand? As people who are enslaved. So are we going to ignore the book, whether the white man came and plagiarized it, or whether somebody came and took that story and moved along and changed the characters? Who cares?
You can't ignore it. You can't ignore what's going on in that book. You can't ignore it.
Yeah. So now you in the book of Revelation and you see all the things that's happening. So obviously that book ain't from the white man. It's from God through the white man. See, but you can't explain this to a simple-minded Negro because they think, they worship man. You understand? They worship man. They in submission to man. They not in transmission with God. That's the problem. Because if you knew anything, you would know that man brings nothing to the planet. Everything comes from God through man.
That's right.
You understand? Because if that was the case, if anything came from the white man, then why was the white man in the cave for thousands of years scratching his ass and chasing and beating and having sex with animals and beating on each other with clubs? Who sped up his intelligence?
Look on the walls in Egypt. Look on the walls in Egypt. You'll see that intelligence came from God through man.
Exactly. And the white man, he even says this. He even go to your master, the white man, since you believe everything come from him, and ask him, where did he get the idea from the television from? Where did he get the idea of the radio from? Since you simple-minded Negroes want to sit up here and talk about, it ain't nothing new under the sun. What are you talking about? Was a TV here 400 years ago? What the hell are you niggas talking about? Stop repeating things. That's what happened when you were a simple-minded Negro parrot. You just repeat something stupid that the white man said. There's nothing. Or some simple-minded nigga said, there's nothing new under the sun. What are you talking about? God is always sending new things under the sun just because y'all too dense to get it. You understand? Where was a TV at 400 years ago? Where was a radio at 400 years ago? Where the hell was a computer and a cell phone at? Where did all that come from in the last 100 years? Obviously, God sent the intelligence to man to bring that out. So what are you talking about? But like I said, that's the simple-minded. What's the contradiction? You tell me what the contradiction is. I said that the book came through God. Dave, whatever your name is, call up, pick up, and don't hide in the chat room. Call and pick up. This is why our people, this is exactly why our people don't know who they are. You understand? I said our identity is supposed to come from God, not from man. You looking for your identity to come from a man. You understand? It's coming from God. These are things you're not privy to because you got your head up man's you-know-what. You people out there, especially you people in the black movement, you got your head so far up the white man's rectum, like I said, you can't see the daylight. That's why y'all think y'all black people. You nothing but carbon copies of white people, and you looking for him to say, this is how this is, this is how this is, this came from the white man. How could something come from the white man when he was in the cave? Where did he even get the knowledge to write and start reading and stuff? Who sped him up? Who created him? Who created the white man? Who brought life here? Who structured all this? That's what we talking about. So obviously, that's the person who inspired the book, who sent the book through man for man to write it down.
That's it.
What's hard to understand about that?
If you got questions, call in. Stop being a coward. Don't be afraid.
That's all a coward could do. You understand? Because, they don't have no inspiration. Ain't nothing coming from the niggas. Ain't nothing coming from the black man, the mentally dead. You understand? So all they can do is snip on the heels of somebody who appears to look like them. They, who just like that's. Did you see that movie, The Django Unchained?
No, I'm not going to see it. I don't want to see it.
You should look at it. It's pretty funny, even though it was simple-minded. Jamie Foxx messed the movie up. But that same Uncle Ruckus character in Boondocks is what Sam Jackson played. It was kind of funny. I got it on the bootleg, but, that's the mentality of most of your black people. That's the mentality. Instead of calling in and asking me questions, real questions, they want to sit in chat rooms and attack me when I'm saying. Go to a white man and attack what he got to say. You never asked him where he get his intelligence from.
Right? They respect him too much. They ain't gonna call. Yeah. They're not gonna attack what he says. They're gonna just take it in and believe it, live it.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna do that.
Of course, they're not questioning the white man. And the white man done sit up and down that he was in tune with something higher. He said it. Obviously, he had to be if he was sitting in the caves one day, the next minute scratching his ass and running around butt naked. Then the next thing he's sitting someplace with computers and cell phones and stuff like that. Obviously, somebody had to help him out. Somebody had to tune him in. You understand? That's exactly why our people are not getting tuned in, because these simple-minded Negroes want to be tuned into the white man. They want to be up his rectum. They want to get their ideas and their policy or their political views from him, and put blackface on it, then claim it's their views. Like a bunch of simple Simons.
Exactly, man.
They can't think for themselves. You guys ain't ready, man. That's why our people ain't got an identity. In the state of Mentel, our identity is the Mentelian race. We are the Mentelians. We are the almond beings, almond by blood, Mentelian by nationality and universality. We are the Mentelian race. And when we say Mentelian, what that means is we are those mental receivers from God. Amen. Who is the true and living God, the omni-man. That's what we're talking about. The one who is beyond human, the one who has created man. Right? And the one who has manifested one, and the one who has created another. That one who is beyond man. You understand? Who created man. You can't get around the one who created man. Man didn't create himself. Because if man created himself, then create yourself again. Everything man is doing in laboratories and things like that, genetic splicing and all that other nonsense and metaphysics you Negroes talking about, that came from God, man. That came from Amen. He been done with that. Y'all just getting that, and y'all getting new to that. He been done with that. You can't touch the logic. You might not like me or how I'm saying things, but you can't touch the logic. That's something y'all don't possess. Logic is of God. Logic is of Amen. That's the foundation of intelligence right there. That's why you are biological people. You understand? Our identity is supposed to come from God. When I say that, like I said, stop looking for your identity to come from the mouths of men. I don't care if it's a black man, white man, whatever. They just going to make up a bunch of names that are just based on a bunch of limited perceptions. The white man will call you a goat one day and say you from the country of goat. And you Negroes will be speaking goat. Right? Tomorrow, you niggas will speak goat. Whatever the white man tell y'all follow it. No questions asked. But you expect us to do it, and because we're not doing it, that's what you really got a problem with. Well, where he get that from? You just can't accept that somebody is thinking on a higher level and is receiving intelligence and inspiration from a higher source. You can't accept that because you're not doing it.
They can't accept it because of the color of your skin, too.
Of course not. If I was a white man and I was talking about spirituality and I wrote a book like that white guy who wrote that book, what's this guy's name? That I seen one of the Israelites reading. Some guy named I forget the name now. Eckhart Tolle. If I was Eckhart Tolle or some white person who wrote a book on spirituality and reception or whatever the case may be, like they're gonna start doing now, they use a lot of our terminologies, like they use the word mentellect that came through me from Amen. When I said that, when the white man wrote a book on spirituality, the Israelites was reading it. But wait a minute, I thought y'all was connected to God. Why are you reading a white man's book? Huh? I thought you was the people of God. Exactly. That's what it is. A bunch of dead bulbs in a box. A bunch of burnt out bulbs. I don't waste my time with y'all. Y'all not
they lost. They really lost.
They mentally dead. Like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that's the mentally dead. That's the blind, deaf, and dumb. Right?
This state is going to manifest right in front of their face, man.
Yeah. They ain't gonna get it.
They're not. Even when they can see it with their eyes, they still try to attack it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna play some music to them. I'm gonna play a special song to them. The black parrots. Because they've been getting on me, and like I said, I was talking about nationality, but like I said, their nationality, they waiting for the white man to tell them something. They accepted all his names. They accepted that they African. We saying we Mentelian. You understand? We are the Amen race. Our language is Mentelian. You understand? And we got more of a claim to the word Mentelian. It's not a European word, because I already know what these Negroes will say. Oh, that's a European. Well, you got that from the white man. That word mental is from the white man. No, it is not. The word mental is not from the white man. You can find the word men. You can find the word tel going back through the ancient Hebrew all the way up to into the Sumerians, you'll find the word El. You'll find the word men going into the cuneiform form. You'll find the word going into Egypt and into the ancient Egyptian text, men. You'll find all those words, El. You'll find all those words going there, and it was all dealing with reception. That white man didn't just come up with that whole tell. He just took those words from those cultures and put them together and adopted them into his language. That's the same way the Egyptians took the name Amun, and actually some of them came in contact with Amun. You understand? That's what they were referring to him as Nitiru. They came in contact with Amun and that Amun race of beings, and that's why they put those statues up in the name of those people. But like I said, you know, to Negroes who mentally dead, they're not going to get that. So
yeah, they don't know that. They don't know that, man. They don't know that.
Yeah, go worship Jesus. Let me play a song to them. You know our favorite, Sam. This is for you guys. I'm gonna talk to you, Reg.
All right, brother P.
You know, all right. This is for you guys. This is for you guys who for you guys who saying I'm making stuff up, and you know you got your head up the white man's rectum, looking for an identity, looking for a flashlight, looking to still be African and get in touch with your European roots. This is for you, Sambo Contigo from Naked Music. We'll be right back. 1111111. Let me tell you something. You don't have a real number, so I'm not taking your call. If you can't be, you know, if you don't come back with a real number, I'm not going to take your call. Okay? Those two white guys, the ones that set up here, you know, they taught me the lesson on that. The two junior Klansmen that called in and, you know, basically called me a nigga. And I thought it was funny, but I don't take 1111 calls. So if you can't call in with a real number that we can look at and trace back in case you say something stupid, if you can't call with a real number, we're not taking your call. So you might as well get off the chat off the phone line, because that's the 11111 people. That's usually a brave way, a cowardly way for them to hide behind something stupid they're gonna say, because they're not man enough or woman enough to own up or man up or woman up to what it is. I put myself out there, put my picture up out there all the time, and my name is ᴑᴜ. That's my real name. That's not it's not no fake name or no real name, or that's my government. That's my government. I don't hide behind nothing. I don't hide in chat rooms and hide behind fake what's the name. If you're going to stand up for something, stand up, be men about it. See, I would respect that more if you was a man about it or a woman about yours. I would respect that more. I'm not taking calls from people who don't have real numbers. So you might as well get off the out of my call room. You can listen though, if you're not trying to call. Like I said, I don't take calls from people who do that. All right. So. I want to say people who are going to receive Mentelian names, for the brother Abdul Gilbert, people who are going to receive Mentelian names are only going to be people in the state of Mentel. We're not selling the book of names to people outside the state of Mentel. That only goes for people who are members. We don't want people walking around wearing our names who are not of the Mentelian race, who are not in the state of Mentel, who are not mentalists. This is our thing. You understand? We're not, if you're not part of this thing, you're part of the world. And we don't want people of the world walking around wearing our names, because we have our own special names. They mean something in the Mentelian language. They mean something, right? They are not of man. They are of God. They are truly from Amun. Just as he promised that he would make reception with his people again. And he has. The reception has started. That's why I say the state of Mentel means come join the reception. Like I said, it's not for the black race. It's for the people who are evolving out of the black race to come in tune with God. It's not for the human race. It's for the Amun beings who are trying to come in transmission with God. Our identities can only come from God because we are from God. That's the identity. Right? 973. 973. Yeah.
Steve, how you doing?
How you doing, bro?
Okay, I'm back. I just tried to look up the SOM.info. Did you say the era Oscar Mike.info? I can't find it.
No, the SOM, the like THESOM.info.
THESOM.
.info, yes.
Thank you again. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you.
No problem, bro.
Peace.
Peace. All right. Yes, like I said, when you hear people say something, you know how people are not thinking when they say something stupid like there's nothing new under the sun. Of course there's new things coming from beyond the sun. Of course there are new things. Just because you're not in tune to get it don't mean there's nothing new under the sun. Just like the new identity would come to our people. When it's talking about in the book of Revelations, it's talking about the raising of a new people, an evolutionary people. That is always happening on the planet. That is not of man. It is not from the black man. It is not from the white man. It is from God. You understand? God is always raising up the intelligence in a group of people while he's leaving others in darkness. That's real. Problem is, y'all don't know. Y'all just been left behind. Y'all still looking to consume information. You still looking to consume information and find your identities by way of information, which was provided by the white man to cause confusion, to get you to think in a formation, in a circular way of thinking, in a ritualistic way of thinking, in a rotation, in a revolutionary way of thinking. No, God sends intelligence in linear state, in evolutionary lines. I said God doesn't move vertically, he moves horizontally. He sends intelligence to evolve people. You understand? And he is evolving the intelligence of our people who are in tune with him. That's why I say in God we trust, which is why, we say that because we were the first ones who trusted in God, not the white man, not anybody else. He can trust in God now because he has in civilization, society, he's governing the earth. He has pledged to be a caretaker to the earth, something that the black man put down a long time ago. That's why y'all don't receive no inspiration. That's why you don't know who you are. That's why you are calling yourself black people and you are living in the image of these people. We have an identity. We have a nationality. You understand? Now, next is the headquarters. We can headquarter anywhere. Don't have to be in Africa. You understand? We can headquarter anywhere. You understand? Because that's what you Negroes talking about when you talk about the nationality and things like that. That's a headquarters. It's an office space. It's a place for your people to reside. Hell, most of y'all end up over here in America anyway. You understand? So, no, we moving on. God, like I said, to hear somebody, and that's sad to hear our people still repeating that. That's sad to show that your intelligence hasn't moved one bit if you're saying there's nothing new under the sun. There was, like I said, there were no TVs here 400 years ago. That was new under the sun. There were no radios here 400 years ago, 500 years ago. That's new under the sun. You show me where there was a radio, where there was a TV. You show me where there was an airplane and all this other technology that came in the 19th century, about 100 years ago. Show me where it was at. Obviously, God had to send intelligence to people to do this. It didn't come from the white man. And if you believe that, obviously he's your God because you're saying that he can think of things and open his mind to receive things, or has the power or the mental capacity to receive things that you can't, or to think of things that you can't. And that is not the truth. Difference between him and you is, like I said, he knows who he is. He opens his mind up to receive. You understand? You black men, y'all open your mind up to be carbon copies to him. He puts his head up in the air. He looks up straight ahead and keeps his head straight up and moves forward. And he's trying in his own way to evolve and move forward. And he's being used to bring intelligence on the planet. You understand? For a time being. Then it will be somebody else. It was us at a time when we were in tune with God. That's where our inspiration came from God. That's the new thing under the sun. God is always sending messages. Amen is always sending messages from beyond the sun. He sent our new identities, but the majority of you are not going to get it. It's not for you. So keep being black, keep being African, keep being Zulus or whatever the hell you calling yourself. Keep trying to speak Arabic. Keep telling yourself sharing names with the Arabs, and keep on believing and being the black carbon copy version of these people. You keep on doing that. You keep fighting over who's the real Arab, who's the real Muslim, who's the real Jew, who's the real Israelite. You keep fighting who's the real Christian. You keep fighting over that. Who's the real African now? Now you got to fight over the terminology African. Now you got to fight over that nonsense. You understand that? You have no identity because you put your trust in man. You submit to man. We transmit to God. That's the difference between us. And like I said, with that, you have to go. And with that, you have to go. You don't want the intelligence of God. The intelligence of God is what moved man forward. Man didn't move anything by himself. Man came with identities given to him from God. You understand? All intelligence, all language comes from God. What man does from time to time is he fragments and takes things out of the standing that it was in, but then at the end of the day, the message of God always gets out. The intelligence of God always comes through, whether it's in English, whether it's in Arabic. In some way, shape, or form, it will make it through. But it made it through, and it was meant to make it through. The true intelligence of God was meant to make it through in English, in the English language, which is from God, through the white man. It's not his language, because I said the word English, the word in means Lord, from the ancient Sumerian. And they got that word from God himself, as in men, or amen, or in, Lord. That's why they say in the church, praise the Lord. That's not coming from them. They didn't come up with that. If you're going to make a statement, do a little research. Since you Negroes are so research happy, do a little research. I don't even read, and I know that. You understand? Before you slander and make negative statements, but that's what you do. That's what happens when people are in the darkness. They flail their arms and they're trying to find a way. And while they're flailing their arms around trying to find their way in the dark, they hitting people. They hitting people. They panicking. They saying anything. There's nothing new under the sun. There's a new identity for our people. We were always Mentalians, people who received the intelligence from God. We were the first Mentalians. The other Mentalians, like I said, that's a continuous, really actually a continuous title that we were given knowledge of recently as people who were receiving the intelligence of God. That's all you're here to exist to do. You didn't come here to be no damn African. You didn't come here to be no Rasta. You didn't come here to be no Egyptology. You didn't come here to be no 5%er. You didn't come here to be none of these things. All this was supposed to lead up to the intelligence of God. Not you niggas saying things in a rotation, repeating what somebody else said, putting blackface on it, coming and using somebody else's identities. You understand? And then telling lies, talking about you came up with it first, but we just didn't know that secret knowledge, or we always knew this, but we just forgot. That's a hell of an amnesia. Y'all just say anything. We always knew, we just forgot. Y'all just say anything. You didn't always know nothing. Because always knowing and then not being able to put the knowledge out or put the intelligence out that you supposedly always knew don't mean a damn thing. What good is it? What good is it? You can say, that's like saying, oh, that light bulb got the potential to work, but if the light bulb don't work, like I said, I'm giving the analogy again, that light bulb got the potential to work, but if it don't work, then it's useless. Don't tell me what you always knew. You niggas ain't know nothing. You know you repeating something the white man said. You didn't know nothing. Somebody had to teach you. But you not, like I said, our people are not open to learn, especially if it's coming from a black face. You'll take it from a white book. Somebody had to teach you. And then you go, like I said, you even call them the master teachers, all because somebody wrote a book. They put information in the form in which you recognize it, which the white man put it in the book, which our people started doing first, because somebody put in the book, they master teachers. They could say anything, like I said, but they master teachers because they put it in the book. Don't have to make sense. You understand? They put it in the book, so they master teachers. You don't know how simple-minded you sound. Our nationality, our true identity is that of receiver to sender, and to sender to receiver. We are a receiver. We are those mental receivers on earth. We've always been those ones who are supposed to be receiving the intelligence of God on earth. That's our nationality. You understand? That's our nationality. Receivers. Mentalians. The receivers, the mental receivers of God's intelligence. That's our nationality. Amen. Amen is God. It's not from the Egyptians. And it's not the Amun, Amir, Amel, Amu. It's Amen. That was a misunderstanding from those people because, as I said, people were learning God's name as they were continuously moving forward. So you had people mispronounce God's name because God was constantly being revealed to them. And people, when you trying to explain to say your name to somebody, they're going to mispronounce it based on the language or the tongue that they speak. because different tongues, all that means is different languages, so they're going to mispronounce it. You might hear my name one way, then somebody else going to hear it another way, and they're going to pronounce it differently. That's where all the contradictions about Amen's name came in, but it was always Amen. So let me go ahead and answer these questions, and we're going to get out of here. Monday night, there will be no broadcast. Monday night, there will be no broadcast. So that's why I did the special Sunday one. I'm just saying it again. Monday night, there will be no broadcast. We'll be back Wednesday. It looks like we'll be back on Wednesday, and we'll be able to pick up where we left off. What is the real reason why black people have no true identity? Because, like as I said, y'all waiting for y'all identity to come from man. You looking for your identity to come from the white man. And y'all going to be waiting. You're going to be waiting. The last identity he handed out to you was African. And y'all still stuck with that. You still stuck with the title African. You people want to add the K in there to try to hide the fact that it came from the white Romans when they were colonizing those areas, and they was calling, I believe they called what you call Africa today Tunisia or something like that. They called it Tunisia or one of those. They didn't call it no Akibulan, and all the black people there, so-called black people there, did not call it no Africa and all that. So stop lying. Okay, stop lying. Stop telling lies just because you're trying to give yourself an identity. Okay, that African terminology came from the white man, just like black. Just like Negro, just like all these other names you got came from the white man. Y'all got proud a little bit in the 70s, and y'all tried to connect with Egypt and Nubia, but even those names are dead now. Because it was never about those names, because we constantly move from place to place to place. So it was never about those names. It's about who we ultimately are. You know, beyond the sun, beyond this planet, who are we ultimately? We are the receivers of God's intelligence, the Mentalians. That's who we are. We not no other name. All those other names are the preconceived notions of man. All right? The intelligence of God is not preconceived. It's pre-received. And it's post-received. And it's continuously received. Okay? What is the true identity of black people? As I said, the Mentalians, the ones of our people who are evolving into the bright race. Their true identity for the black race is confusion. That's the true identity of the so-called black race, confusion. Y'all don't have no identity. That's why, like I said, you can argue over all these different names and things like that, and it don't mean nothing because you got it from the white man, so y'all don't have no identity. All right? Because until y'all come together as one, collectively, in this society, and it's not going to always be all our people. All our people are going to still be lost in the darkness, but our ones who are lighting up in the intelligence of God come together, we will receive our new names in the power of God. Amen. In God we trust. All right. Where did it come from? Meaning the name. Where did it come from? The word Mentalian came from God, from Amen. Just like all languages, all names come from God, come from Amen. He called our people Mentalian, not me, because we're supposed to be receiving in this day and time. I'm just an instrument of God. When you see that word men at, that's Amen there. When you see instrument, amen, human, when you see all that, that's all environment, mental, all that's of Amen. That's all of his biological word order. To get out to the people, to let you know that everything governmental, to let you know that everything is mental. That he's sending messages into this atmosphere to the white man, to some of our people, some of the black men, to the ones who are in tune, the elite, the elect, those who are in tune. It's all about reception, people. I said the age of information is dead. We're in the age of intelligence, but a lot of you black people ain't wake up to this. That's why you're still saying stupid things like there's nothing new under the sun. Intelligence is constantly coming from beyond the sun. Let me see. Why is it that black people will never have a true identity? That's because, like I said, our people are in a state of confusion. That's why. That's why we'll never have a true identity. Well, black people won't, but the bright race will. We're not interested in the black race and they problems, and they want to keep fighting over identities. We got our identity in the state of Mental. We are the Mentalians, and we are mentalists, and our language is a Mentalian. And we will eventually have our own headquarters or office space or state or whatever to operate from in time. Do black people even feel they need? Do black people even feel they need a new identity in the future? Nope. Black people don't feel they need nothing. They'll continue being African American and whatever else people hand out to them, because our people are used to taking whatever, Arabs, white, whoever give what to them, our people take it. And they'll try to be proud of it, and they'll try to link themselves to it and give it some meaning and put blackface on it. So don't even this show is wasted on black people. It's detrimental to bright people. So that is it for our broadcast. I want to thank those of you who tuned in on this special Sunday night broadcast. I had to get this off because, as I said, there will be no Monday night broadcast, but we will pick up on Wednesday and continue with the intelligence of Amen. In God we trust. I am the intellectual ᴅᴏ.ɪᴅᴇ. This has been State of Mentel Radio. Good night. What do I want to play? Yeah, I haven't heard this in a minute. But I want to do the countdown. January 27th, the State of Mentel's The True God Revealed project is coming up. The True God Revealed. It's going to be a vast difference from the Superman, Superwoman project. I promise you that. All right? So, once again, I am the intellectual ᴅᴏ.ɪᴅᴇ. This has been State of Mentel Radio. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can